Okay, so I'm just gonna go over all the settings in Oracle's VirtualBox. So let's check them out. Settings. First, you have General. So it's just the name of the virtual machine, the type of OS, and then the type of distro or a version. Go to Advanced. That will be where the virtual machine is saved, the files. If you want to transfer to another computer and open it there, you can. Share clipboard, you can enable that so that you can copy from your host machine to your virtual machine. Same with drag and drop. You can actually just drag and drop stuff straight from your desktops. Description, if you have the description you want to put in about the virtual machine. Disk encryption, enable disk encryption. This will encrypt your virtual machine so that nobody can access your data, your files. So you can choose the encryption method. So 256, obviously better. Enter a password. And we go to system. Your motherboard, so your RAM, you can access, you can give it more RAM. Just don't go into the red, that's your host machine's RAM. Just stay in the green. Right, and then you can actually select a boot order. Maybe you want to boot a program or a game from a floppy, that's possible. So this will be the boot order. Obviously a virtual CD-ROM drive, and then a hard drive, and even a network. That's for installation purposes and so on. So then your chipsets, if you have older hardware in your computer that supports that chipset, you set that. ICH9 is obviously newer hardware chipset. TPM is security feature, which you can set. TPM is a security function like secure boot and BitLocker, I think. So you can just select that. Pointing device, that's your mouse. It says tablet, but it's a USB mouse. If you're using you can still use a PS2 mouse if it supports that. Right, and then extended features. Enable IO API-C. So this just increases the performance for disk access, for reading and writing and so on, copying, and network traffic. So it increases the performance there. Enable hardware clock, so this will just sync the clock from your host machine to your virtual machine. Enable EFI, this is for newer OSs when you install them. You want to select that, and then it will open up this one. Enable secure boot, which is another security feature. Newer OSs, so that no nasties can jump on your machine while you're installing. So on. Okay, then we go to processor. You can select the amount of processors here, 1 to 5. Just keep it in the green again, because that will eat into your host machine. And then execution caps, you can actually say how much the CPU is being used. So if you choose 2 CPUs, you can set them to 50%, only 50% on those CPU usage. So it caps them there. Extended features, enable PAE NX. So PAE's performance setting is like I said, PAE is it's a function which allows your virtual machine to use more than 4 gig of RAM, and NX is just a security feature for your RAM as well. Enable nested VTX, so this will allow you to create multiple virtual machines within your initial virtual machine. Alright, so that, and then acceleration. This is just improve the performance of your virtual machine between your host and your virtual machine. by using hardware virtualization, using a page file to improve the performance, like I said. Right, let's go to display. So screen. This is the graphics that you allow for your virtual machine. You can just max it out to 128. And then monitor count, you can actually set up to 8 virtual monitors. So we'll just take create a virtual monitor with like icons or whatever on it, and it'll encapsulate it in a window, and you can just have multiple monitors on your desktop, and you can actually drag that virtual monitor to a physical monitor and use it like that. Right, scale factor, that's just how big you want this. And then graphics controller. So VBox VGA is the native controller of VirtualBox. It's a bit older. And then VMS VGA is VMware's VGA graphics controller. And then VBox SVGA is just a combination of the two, and it's newer. Right, extended phase, enable 3D acceleration. This is if you have a graphics card, so that you can have better graphics in your virtual machine. Right, remote display works exactly like remote desktop. You can just access your virtual machine from another computer over the network or internet. And that's how that works. And you can have multiple connections, so multiple people can actually connect to that virtual machine. Right, recording works like a screen recorder. You can record your desktop, video, audio. This is where the file is being saved. Frame size 1024, you can set it there. Frame rate goes up to 30 frames per second. And then video quality, low, medium, high, set it there. And then you can choose the screen that needs to be recorded. Right, let's go to storage. So you get your controllers, IDE and SATA. So this one you use is like a virtual CD-ROM or DVD drive, and you use this to install your actual virtual machine. So just to select that, and then you choose where your ISO file that you've downloaded, and select that and load it onto there, and then install it. Once it's installed and finished, it will actually unload, and you don't have to use that again. It will actually, your OS will run on this virtual hard drive that's in the SATA. So you can just, in the SATA, you can actually set the port. If it's a solid state drive, hard pluggable, external. Right, let's go to audio. Audio is straightforward. You can enable the audio in virtual machine. This is just your host audio driver in Windows. This is your audio controller, your earphones, speakers, whatever. And then you can enable output and input, so speakers, microphone, so on. Right, let's go to network. They give you up to 4 adapters that you can use, virtual network adapters. So you can just enable that, and then you can set it to what it needs to do. So bridge adapter, internal network, and so on. What its function is the name of your adapter. Right, and then the graphics network card. You can choose which one. Right, promiscuous mode. You can just leave that as is. Like, okay, then serial ports. You have old hardware that uses serial ports. You can plug that into your computer and then access it in your virtual machine. USBs, your USB drives, set it to USB 3, the newest one, and here you can actually filter out USB devices, keyboards, mouses, whatever. Either you can show them or not show them. Shared folder, You can actually create a shared folder path name, read only or amount. Create a folder, you can share files between your host machine and your virtual machine. Right, and then this is just the virtual machine layout, what you want to see and what you don't want to see. And that is all the settings. Yeah.